Mindset matters. Staying resilient in what is a changing industry. Mindset has been something that I have focused on myself individually for many, many years. And I firmly believe that if you can build a very strong and resilient mindset, you will achieve more than if you don't consider it to be something that seriously affects your business. So, your ability to stay the course of setting up and running a business and riding all of those ups and downs of any journey that you're on, the key to it is how resilient are you to be able to ride those ups and downs. Having a really positive, great mindset doesn't happen overnight. It takes a long time to fix if you're currently in what I always used to call the doldrums. In fact, it's something that you continuously have to work on, have to tweak, have to change, have to update, and develop for the whole of your life. There'll always be change in your life, in business, personally, finances, family, all sorts of different things. And change is what, as human beings, we don't like. We have, if you like, a fear of change. And in some of us, that fear is greater than in others. Fear usually of failure, fear of what might go wrong, fear of what you risk losing. So, being able to control those emotional responses and be stronger and resilient up here is going to help you to be able to get through the setting up and the riding of those ups and downs in any business. And there are always ups and downs. Even 5 or 10 years into a business, the ups and downs just change. They're not set up anymore. They're not getting new customers. They're around other things. So having a really strong and positive mindset can help prevent those negative thoughts, those gremlins, or at least you can train yourself to recognize them and shut them down very, very quickly. So you can work on changing your mindset at any stage and at any age. Learning how your mind works and changing the words that you use in relation to how you're dealing or thinking about difficult situations is absolutely key. And I get a lot of people coming to me as potential sourcing agents, or they're sourcing and they're really struggling. And they'll say to me, is it the right time to do this? And I turn the question around quite often and say, is it the right time for you? It's always the right time to set up a business if you've done the due diligence and there is a market for it. But is it the right time for you personally to do this? What else have you got ongoing? If you've got other difficult situations in your life, you can only deal with a small number of really difficult situations at once. You can't juggle a lot of different, really serious issues. You will just do your head in. There's just no way that you can deal with it. So let's have a look at some 5 top tips for improving your mindset and daily thoughts. Switch what you say, what conversation you have with yourself around to, I can do anything I set my mind to. And that's a really, really positive and forward thinking statement. And there's no reason why it can't be true. The only reason that it might not be is what else your mind is thinking and where else your mind takes you. So I always say to myself, no matter what the problem, I can find a way over it, under it, around it, or through it. And that's what I say to myself, no matter what the problem. Gratitude. At the end of the day, always count up the things that you're grateful for in your life. A sense of gratitude is a very, very positive and grounding emotion. So, what are you grateful for that is in your life at this moment in time? And it could be something as simple as a partner, a wife, a husband, children. It could be you live in a lovely area. It could be that you're healthy. It could be that you're comfortable, that you have enough money to live off. It could be a lot of different things. And there may only be one thing that you can think of to be positive of right now. But that sense of gratitude switches you from negative to positive in one thought. The other thing is investing your time. And I don't mean necessarily spending tens of thousands of pounds on coaching or mentoring, but don't just sit and wallow in those negative thoughts. Do something around positive steps to move forward. So if you think, I really want to set up a sourcing business, do some research on what you have to do to set up a sourcing business. If you come to the NAPSA website, we've got a download for you that you can download for guidance. You could have a free call with us. That is taking positive steps, something positive. And when you've done something positive to actually move something forward, you get a lift, you get a buzz. Another important thing is to focus on the process of doing something and not on the end outcome. If you try to think about what's it going to be like in the end outcome, if you're in that way, if your mindset is in that negative pose, you'll think, I can't do this, I'm going to fail. That's not achievable. How on earth am I going to do this? So don't think about the outcome. Think about the process and start the process. Don't think about the outcome. The outcome is out there. Where I started in 2012 setting up a sourcing business, I didn't expect to end up where I am today. Different things will happen, different doors will open, different opportunities will come. Don't think about the outcome, focus on the process. And last but not least is the very true statement that what you focus on creates your reality. Now, I know it sounds woo-woo, as some people would say, but it's something that I have believed for many, many years. So let me give you some examples. If you focus on the fact that you have whenever you drive into a supermarket car park, there is never a space for you to be able to park that's big enough. It's very frustrating. And every time you drive into that car park, that's the case. That is probably because every time you drive into that car park, that's going to happen because that is what you're focusing on, and that is what your perception gives you. It may be that you say when you're driving down the motorway, I never see this particular type of car that I want to own one day. It's never there. It never drives past me. I never get to see it, whatever it is. And that's because that's what you're focusing on. If you switch your thoughts around and focus on positives and say, when I drive into that supermarket car park, there will be a parking space for me. That fantastic car that I want to own one day will drive past me on the motorway. The door is open. I can't remember who it was, but I think it was a very famous, I want to say magician or someone who focuses on what you see versus what's actually happening. And they set up a test, and I think it was in a town, I can't remember where or what year it was. And they set up a test to prove that what people focus on proves correct. And what they did was they spoke to local people that were in the area for a period of time and picked up their thoughts on positivity or not. And they spoke to a local shop owner. And what this local shop owner ended up saying was, everything that comes through the post is a bill, or it's I owe someone something, or it's bad news, or it's something. And somebody else would say, nothing positive ever happens to me at all in any way, shape or form. And what they did was, with that person in the shop, they put, it was either cash or a check to that person in an envelope and just put it in the post, and it came through the door. And that person didn't open any of the post because they weren't expecting anything positive and they just binned it. The person who said nothing positive ever happens to me, they put £20 notes at various stages on the route that person walked during the day, and that person didn't see any of them. Why? Because that wasn't what they were focusing on. That wasn't what they were looking for. Positives are everywhere. You just have to choose to flip your mindset to be able to see them and bring that positivity into your life and into your business. I'll be with you at the usual time next week, next Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. Thank you for joining me.